Welcome to the first in a new series of Trumpet Pro Tips. In this video we're talking about mouthpiece buzzing, the reasons I think it's a good idea, and 5 things you should be doing to get more benefit from it. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Brian from Airflow Music. Alongside publishing our books for brass players, we've been producing a bunch of videos with tips to make brass playing easier for you. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and the bell that pops up so you're notified of all of our videos. Mouthpiece buzzing tends to be a divisive topic among brass players. Some people are really into it and some are really against it. It's something I happen to think can be really beneficial, providing we go into it with our eyes open. Before we get to my 5 tips for better mouthpiece buzzing, let's look at both sides a little. What is often overlooked is that it's not exactly the same as what we do when we're playing with the instrument attached. I've talked about this a little in previous videos, particularly O for overblowing from the Trumpet A to Z, so I'll make the short version here. There are a number of really great, really famous players who like to use the demonstration that if you play a note on your trumpet or trombone, and then keep blowing with the mouthpiece in place and remove the instrument, there's no buzz. Something like this. They like to use this to prove that you shouldn't mouthpiece buzz. On the one hand, they're absolutely correct that if you're playing efficiently and not overblowing, then that is what happens. You don't buzz your lips on the way in, as it were. However, in my opinion, mouthpiece buzzing is a really useful exercise because it's a bit different. It's a little more work for the muscles of the embouchure, but more importantly, it gives you really useful feedback that you can hear about whether you're moving your air correctly. In other words, we can use it to strengthen our embouchures a little and get our air working well, but then, because adding the resonance of the instrument back into the system helps us, we can spend the rest of our time enjoying the fact that playing our instruments is actually a bit easier. That's why I'm in favour of mouthpiece buzzing. Now, here's 5 pro tips to get more benefit from it. Number 1. Breathe and support. Since mouthpiece buzzing is more effort than playing our instrument, it's especially important that we breathe and support properly when we do it. Yet that's the first thing that seems to get overlooked. Take a nice deep breath, engaging your core so your chest rises up as the air is inhaled. Then hold your chest up as you buzz or play. Refer to my video B for breathing for more about this. Number 2. Don't blow too hard. All of us brass players have a tendency to overblow, and that's particularly easy to do if you're breathing and supporting well. We feel like we have all this air at our disposal. It's useful to remind yourself how little air can actually fit through the mouthpiece. Seal your lips around it and vary the blow until you find the sweet spot where the air goes through most freely. This is the sort of air quantity we should be using whether we're buzzing or playing. It feels much more like a release of air than actually blowing. My students are frequently surprised how long I can sustain a lip or mouthpiece buzz for. That's easy for me since I'm releasing a very gentle but even stream of air. Number 3. Don't press too hard. Another tendency I often see when I ask my trumpet students to buzz the mouthpiece for me is that they use far too much mouthpiece pressure. Now, this is partly fixed by observing tip number 2 and not blowing so hard, but it's also down to the way we hold the mouthpiece. To guard against too much pressure, you should hold the mouthpiece by the shank between the finger and thumb of your weaker hand. If you're right-handed, that's your left hand and vice versa. If this grip is new to you, then you'll probably find that your buzzing range is smaller to begin with, but stick with it. Number 4. Don't buzz too loud. Again, this is related to tips 2 and 3, but I see many students who try to buzz way too loud. Instead, try to buzz as gently as possible and let the lips relax into the response as much as you can. Buzzing the lips alone or on the mouthpiece is, by definition, adding excess lip tension above what you'll be using when you play with the instrument attached. Learning the feel for a gentle buzz will, in time, lead to a fuller buzz, which will translate to an easier response on the instrument. Number 5. Focus on intonation. The last thing it's really important to focus on is good intonation when you're buzzing. Check pitches against a more stable source. either on a keyboard or by playing them on your instrument before buzzing, and then listen carefully and really try to match them. There are 3 basic types of things we tend to mouthpiece buzz, depending on what kind of playing and with whom you've been studying. They are sirens, long tones, and melodic or scale fragments. Good intonation should be applied to all of these. If you're buzzing sirens, then test either end of the pitch range you're buzzing in and try to match it. If you're buzzing long tones, first match the pitch and then concentrate on releasing the air evenly so the pitch stays constant. If you're buzzing more melodic exercises like stamp drills for example, play the entire phrase first to get the pitches, then buzz, then play on the horn again if necessary according to the instructions in the exercise. I hope that clears some things up about mouthpiece buzzing. The final thing to mention is to not overdo it, particularly if you're new to it. It is more effort than playing your instrument, so you can overwork your chops if you're not used to it. Pay close attention to how your lips and embouchure feel as you're buzzing, and rest, then move on. If you start to feel tired, a few minutes buzzing, then finishing fresh will be much more beneficial than buzzing for a half hour and tiring yourself out. I hope you found this helpful. Please hit that like button, it really does make a big difference if you do, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll be back on Monday with another exercise of the week, and again next Friday with more trumpet pro tips. In the meantime, please visit airflowmusic.com and check out the various books, exercises and other merch we have on offer. All sales directly support making these videos. I'll see you next time. Until then, go practice.